Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the KNB Music Den. I am your friend Keith, and you, sir, are
Brad, as always,
Brad, as always. Look at that smile.
it's something.
Look at that beard. Look at that. That's a handsome guy right there.
It's a mess. This is a mess, is what this is. But hey, thank you.
Hey, whatever works, right?
Yeah,
So Brad's still out there in that beautiful July sun here in Pennsylvania, and my wimpy ass is here in the air conditioning in my music room. But we are here to, as you know, talk about the new album. It's been out a few weeks, let's be honest, but
yeah,
the newest album from Eels, who is Mark Oliver Everett, known as E. It's called Eels Time, and when I first saw that it was coming out, and I saw the album cover where he's kind of looks like he's on stage, kind of kicking his leg out and rocking out, and it's
yeah,
like Eels Time. I actually thought was maybe going to be a live album.
yeah. It looks like a
Um,
live album cover. It does.
yeah, and I was like, I mean, that's okay, but I like new music. And come to find out, of course, it is new music,
New music.
which I'm always eager to welcome new music from Eels. I do have his album he put out before this one called Extreme Witchcraft is the only one of his I have on vinyl. So I did just want to show that real quick. Cool cover. This is a great album, really great album. And I have a bunch of his CDs, but well, there go the other dogs barking. um, But let's talk about Eels Time. Um, the latest from Mark. He's another one of these guys we just talked about recently with other with Zach Bryan and stuff. Prolific. Um,
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily put out one or two albums every year or anything, but always worth the wait in my opinion. Um, so I think you have some background with Eels, don't you, buddy?
Lots. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen them
Yeah,
live or anything, but I went through a giant phase about 15 years ago
yeah.
where I went through about a year or two of just listening to Eels. Like it was just a lot of Eels music, to the point where me and my son are discussing getting matching tattoos, which is based off an Eels album cover, because he used to listen
Oh,
to it in the car with me all the time. So
which
as a
which
3-year-old,
album?
he was 3 and he'd be singing eel songs. Yeah, the best story about that is we were at Target
Yeah.
and he was singing to the person at the front, "I need Novocaine for my soul before I sputter out." This is a 3.5-year-old kid singing this to you know. So I thought that was funny. He's singing this, depressing ass song to the lady. But yeah, Eels. I've been a huge fan of the Eels. Many of his albums are staples, favorites of mine, like End Times. Absolutely think that album is completely underrated. Blinking Lights, the double album, was a fantastic album that
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think gets near enough attention. But yeah, I've been a big fan for a long time.
Yeah, I caught on later than you did, but I caught on hard, man. I mean, I
Yeah,
went through a phase too, like you did, where just complete obsession.
yeah,
Um, the writing, the voice, which is a very versatile, malleable voice, which we'll talk about with this album too. Yeah, just really talented, really very obviously a very intelligent guy, very creative guy. Well, I'm picturing the tattoo now. Which album cover?
well, the song that he used to like to sing in the car was Fleischwater.
Okay.
Um, do you remember that song? It was off of Days of the Universe, I think, or Daisy of the Gap. Well, on the cover, it has a boy and a girl catching butterflies. So
Yeah.
we were going to get that as a funny joke, but um, yeah. So I forget where you were going with that before, but the
Oh, that's okay. No, I was curious. I
oh,
backtracked because I was just picturing the matching tattoos.
yeah,
um, but yeah, back to this album. You're right. Let's get on track. No, but for me, every time I hear a new Eels album when it comes out, to me it just seems like he always has a perfect mix of those upbeat songs that use some electronic beats and like modern technology, those bangers. But then he has those ballads that rip your heart out, and he has that perfect mix of like I said, the electronic sounds and like the organic sounds, like the acoustic guitar,
mhm,
and he's got the perfect mix of quirky lyrics and the heartfelt lyrics. Like
yeah,
he always gives you that grab bag mix, and it always seems to be perfectly balanced, perfectly sequenced. And to me, this album is no exception.
yeah. It's the same. I mean, he doesn't really put out bad albums.
Nah,
I can't go back and think of anything he's really done poorly. I mean, with him, like I said, I got into. I don't know if you write a book. He's an author as well, wrote the book called Things That Grandchildren Should Know, which was like a biography about himself.
Yeah,
Probably my favorite biography by any musician ever. If you get a
I have
chance
to
to
read
read
that.
it, huh?
I'm aware of it, but I haven't read it.
Oh,
I need to get that. Yeah,
read it. It's
yeah,
fantastic. His life is a bizarre life. Like, I don't know how deeply you know his life,
a
or
little bit.
do you know who his father was?
Something with science.
Yeah, his father's
Yeah.
Hugh Everett, which is big. I mean, he was like the guy who invented the idea of parallel universes. So I mean,
Oh
the idea of a
wow.
parallel universe came from his father, Hugh Everett. Um, in fact, there's a great documentary you can find right on YouTube called "Parallel Lives, Parallel Universe" or something like that, where because he didn't know what his father was about, so they basically sent him on a trip to learn about his dad, and it
I
plays a
saw
lot of
some
the
of that.
aliens.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
fantastic. I mean, just
Oh yeah,
great stuff. I mean, he's got a very interesting life.
yeah. Does he? Correct me if I'm wrong. But I thought from watching some of that stuff on YouTube or reading a little bit about him, does he have any some issues with like depression or anxiety that he's open about? Or
I think he has in the past. His family's got a
yeah.
lot of mental disorder. His sister
Okay.
committed suicide,
Oh,
um,
okay. That
and
might be
he
one
wrote
thing.
songs about that. I mean, cure for the cancer, things like that. He's got songs out about like his
Yeah.
sister killed herself. Um,
Oof. Wow.
yeah, so I mean, he's got that all through his family. So I think his dad, I mean, even though he was a genius, was known to be pretty quiet and anxiety ridden and depressed. So I think that runs to his family in general.
Yeah. I mean, when that's that strong in your blood, it's bound to seep down, unfortunately. So,
Mm-hmm.
might be something that he struggles with, which is a shame. But yeah, what such a talent. I assume that, the creating music is a great outlet for him. It probably helps him with that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but, I think overall, this new album, Eels Time, is a bit more mellow and poppy and a little less edgy and, mm, a little less fun, so to speak, than Extreme Witchcraft. So I haven't listened. I've listened to this one a bunch. I've listened to the new one, a few times. So far, if someone said you could only have Extreme Witchcraft or Eels Time on vinyl, which would you take? I think I'd still take this one.
Oh yeah, that would
But
too.
not by a landslide,
Yeah.
by any means. Um, but yeah, I mean, that first song, Time, is
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
wow. I mean, it just reminds you. It sounds like a song that existed before because the melody and the lyrics and the music and everything it just works so perfectly together, and it's so profound but
Mm-hmm.
yet straightforward and simple enough for us morons to follow. um, but you hear a song like that to open this new album, and you feel like you've heard it before. And I don't mean he's copying himself or anyone else. I just mean it feels like it should exist. If
Yeah.
that makes any sense.
And I mean, it's such a deep song too for him because I think at this point he's the oldest living male in his family ever. At this point, and
Wow.
he just came off that huge heart problem he had. I mean, I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen that when he had that giant surgery, and so yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
his mortality's got to be heavy on his mind. So songs like that are deep.
Well, yeah, and I kind of forgot about that health scare because I guess that informs a lot of this album. It's a little bit
Oh yeah,
darker,
oh yeah.
um, a little less. I mean, there's songs on Extreme Witchcraft like Strawberries and Popcorn, and Amateur Hour. That's a great opener. But yeah, this is a little more diverse and I guess subject matter. I'd say.
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, this you could kind of say like August and Everything After by Counting Crows creates a mood and kind of keeps it throughout. Although there's very different
Yeah.
songs. Like Rain King is very different than Raining in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a vibe to the whole album, and that's what he accomplished with this new one, Eels Time, which I love. Um, Time again, like I said, one of my favorite tracks. Goldie, I love that song
That's fun.
about the
The bass
goldfish.
on that's great. It's just got a fun
Yeah,
bass.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great song. And then On the Bridge is my other
Mhm.
favorite near the end.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I'm gonna quote some lyrics here if you don't mind.
Go for
It is Eels Time after all. Uh,
it.
so on the song Sweet Smile, he sings, "The first time I saw her face sent me into outer space, and I haven't been back since." Good
Yeah.
stuff. Good stuff. This is fun. On Lay with the Lambs, he sings, "All of my friends, they got jobs, they got wives, gives me hives. We all die alone. Don't they even know that?
Yeah, yeah, it's great, great.
What a what a cynical bastard on that one. That's fantastic. Um, and then on Song for You Know Who, he sings, mistakes have been made, opportunities misused, hearts have been broken, if not downright abused.
Oh yeah.
Listen to that. Hearts have been broken, if not downright abused.
Hmm.
And the way he sings that with that, oh, he's got this that soft approach, which he
Yeah,
changes up when he needs to.
yeah.
Um, and one more lyric. On the bridge, he sings, meet me on the bridge, tie me to the track. The organ grinder's playing, but the monkey's on your back.
Hmm.
Fantastic. Makes me
It is.
actually, as we sit here and talk about this, makes me want to listen to this album again.
Yeah, and the
um,
fun part with him is I think he's so underrated in the sense that when we talk about best singer-songwriters of the 90s, 2000s, you never bring him up. He never gets brought up.
yeah.
But if you were to put together like a traveling Wilburys of the 2010s or 2020s, he'd be a fantastic ad in there. I mean, what he would bring to a group of four songwriters would be amazing.
Oh, does this mean we're going to have to do another Make Your Own Traveling Wilburys video?
We should, yeah.
Yeah. Starring E. um, but about his voice too, I noticed, and this is throughout his career, I love that again, his production and his decision making and him being a true artist, he always seems to know when to put that kind of distorted effect on his voice that he uses from time to time,
Yeah.
and he knows when to not use that.
Hmm.
I just, yeah, he always, baseball reference, he always makes contact with the ball. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you put it over the plate and he's going to hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
So this is just another great Eels album to add to his great career.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. Now you are a huge. I mean, I'm a big Eels fan now. You've been, like you're talking about getting tattoos, so you might even be ahead of me. But if someone that watching our channel has maybe heard the name Eels, or maybe even hasn't heard the name Eels,
Mhm.
knows nothing about Eels, what do you start them with?
For me, I would tell you to go listen to Blinking Lights.
Okay, the double.
I love that album. I really do. I think that's such a fantastic album. It's got a lot of diversity. I mean, you're going to hear some of the more singer songwriter stuff. You're going to hear a little bit more upbeat, with the samples, stuff like that. There's a lot on that album, and it's a very autobiographical, the whole album. So, I mean, I think that's a really good way to start for me. Or even, I know it sounds corny because we never do it. He's got a solo album out. A live album, which is just him and strings. And I forget where
Yes.
it's at. Oh my
Oh,
God, it's amazing. So that way you can kind of
dude,
hear the skeleton of some of these songs before you even go in, and
I've
amazing.
I've been trying to hunt down that DVD for years.
I got that DVD.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't keep your apartment unlocked. I mean, locked or unlocked, actually, for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know me. I like if it's live, I like to see it and hear it. I don't buy a
Mhm.
lot of live albums, which I'm starting to realize I'm missing out on
Yep.
some stuff. Maybe I'll change my stripes on that. But finally, but I bought, I found the CD of that, and I did buy that because I'm like, I can't find the
Yeah.
DVD. I might as well have this to tide me over. Is it Royal Albert Hall? Maybe I think it
And then
was.
it is. You're right. Royal
Yeah,
Albert
it's
Hall.
like that
Yep.
black cover.
Yep.
But man, and years and years ago, when I wasn't as into Eels as I am now, I did see the DVD and I didn't buy it, and I'm kicking myself.
Oh,
Um, but to answer the question I posed myself, being a little less versed in Eels than you, maybe, um, I would say starting with, this is going to sound a little crazy, maybe, but I would either start with Daisies of the Galaxy, which that's not that crazy. Um,
that's not. Yeah.
honestly, I would not be hesitant to steer people towards this to start.
Really, what it comes down to with him, it's kind of like you with the Beatles. How you said if you know somebody, you could tell them what album to start with. Same thing. If I know who you
Yeah.
are, I can tell you which album because different albums of his can lean in different directions. If you just went through a breakup, I'm gonna have you go to End Times. It's one of the top three
Oh,
breakup albums of all times.
yes.
Uh, if you're just in a good, upbeat, fun mood, even this new one's a great one for that. He's got
Yeah.
ones that are great for that. I mean, there's different ones for different moods. So I mean,
Yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say starting with the album that has Novocaine for the Soul on it. I don't think that's a bad place to start either necessarily.
which one?
The album that has Novocaine for the Soul on it?
Oh, Beautiful Freaks.
Yeah, Beautiful Freak, yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, that's a good one. Electroshock Blues is great.
Oh yeah.
You really can't get it much. I can't name you an album where I would say don't really
Yeah,
start
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I mean,
Just no,
they're
you're
all
right though, and
fantastic.
that's always fun and interesting. Where depending on someone's mood and or who they are as a person, and you know their person as you know their
Yeah,
personality is what I'm trying to say. You could pick which album to start them with.
and then yeah,
Um,
they'll leave themselves after that. But yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. But hey guys, Eels time. Do you think this is got a chance to make your top 10 of the year, or you
it's
don't
gonna
want
be
to tip your
hard.
hand?
It's gonna be hard because where we at? We're in July right now.
Yeah, and there's already.
There's a good bit on my list already, so it's gonna be a tight. It's gonna be tight. This is a good year so far for new music.
Dude, I have a list a mile long already, and we're halfway through
Yep,
the year. I,
yep,
I I'm already gonna say right now, I insist we do at least five honorable mentions before we start our top 10
that's fair.
when we do that video, because there's just too much.
That's
There's
fair.
too much that I want to talk about, and those five honorable mentions will just mainly just name them, not say too much about them. But I at least
Yeah.
want to just talk list them because there's so much to check out from this year. I'm really impressed with this year so
Are we
far.
gonna
Very
make a
much.
roll that we have to have the vinyls for each one to be picked?
Well, I try to do that. I got a new job, so I might be able to do that. I always try to at least have the top five on vinyl.
Okay, that's fair.
So we'll see how
Yep.
it goes. I'll shoot for the top 10 this year.
I know a couple of them that I already have that are definitely on there. I think so.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So all right, guys. Well, tell us what you think. Are you an Eels fan? Are you new to Eels? Hopefully, our discussion here has opened up your your ears, to some great new music. Terrible. So for Brad, as always, I'm your friend Keith. This is the KMB Music Den. Please like this video, share it on social media, subscribe to the channel, smash that bell for notifications, and thank you so much for supporting us. And well, dogs are starting to bark. Perfect time to end the video, right, buddy?
They're excited.
Excited. It's Eels time.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you guys soon and drop some comments for us. Take care.